Good evening.
Sorry, I was getting the stream going. Hey, everybody. For those who don't recognize my voice because I'm sick as a dog, it's T.
Make sure you're using speakers, not headphones. We don't want to infect anybody.
Yeah, you guys all need to test yourself after the meeting. I'm
For COVID and pregnancies.
No, just so everybody knows, I've been tested 3 times now in the last week for COVID. I do not have COVID, thank God. So,
Folks, if you've never joined us for this before, there is a channel called Meeting Channel. That is the channel we'll be watching for text. If you've got questions, feel free to ask them there. Later on, we'll have a Q&A, but just make sure you're tuned into that Meeting Channel for text and memes.
sorry, I'm just getting myself all situated here. Yep, and so those who are new to this, as she just said, feel free to type in that meeting channel, the text channel there. When we get to the Q&A section, we're going to ask you to stop talking so much in the meeting channel because that's what we're going to kind of answer some questions if people have them. But for now, feel free to chat, post memes, do all the stupid shit. Also, I'm streaming the server meeting on Twitch in Discord here. The link should be in our links channel in Discord, and it'll eventually pop up in general channel. But if you go to links, here, I'll put the link in the meeting channel.
Before we get started, I just want to give Briscoe a call out from the last meeting for having the spiciest memes back to back to back.
Okay, so the stream is live. This is live. I'm gonna do my best here. I'll probably be passing the mic on to Eliana a bunch. For those who don't know, I got really sick a couple days ago. Got like 100 and something fever right now, so I'm not feeling too hot. But we'll get through it. All right, so the way we do this is I'm going to go down some notes that we have to discuss. The note list is really short this time around. As you guys know, we've kind of been on an admin break this month, just relaxing, trying to at least. So this won't be too long of a meeting. And then at the end of the meeting, we'll let players ask questions of us. And then, of course, we'll give away prizes in game after that. We're going to try to stream something cool to show you about the party we have planned for Friday. I'm having some major graphic card issues. I don't know what's going on, but I upgraded my GeForce drivers a couple days ago, and ever since then, I'm getting like 3 frames per second and everything. I tried reverting. That fixed it for a couple hours. Long story short, I can't get it to go back to normal. I don't know what's going on. So, thank you, Dream Killers. I'm hoping I get well. Between the back injury and this, I need to get back to normal. Anyway, so the first topic, Eliana, actually, I'm going to insert one in the front here that I forgot to even put on my notes, is this Friday. For those who don't know, we busted our ass building a giant party place for you guys for New Year's Eve. We built a whole club. I'm going to try to stream some of the inside of it later. If I can't, maybe I can get Eliana to. It's real detailed. It's going to put some of John Pay's old parties to shame. It's a really nice place. There's over 1,100 electrical circuits inside this thing. That's how much work I put into this. It's got a fully automated and synchronized fireworks show that's going to start at 11:55 p.m. The grand finale should go off at midnight. Obviously, it's a video game. It's not going to be perfectly lined up with all the clocks in the world, so it may be off by a minute or so, but I did my best. The grand finale is going to be epic. Like I said, it's a 5-minute long fireworks show with a grand finale. It's a lot of work. We're going to be having all kinds of games during the party. This is not something you guys just have to show up at midnight for. This is going to be. I'm leaving it up to the. sorry for my coughing constantly in your ears. I'm going to leave it up to the admins that are running the party on each server to decide when they want to start everything and figure it out. But we're going to basically start the party in the evening, just have all kinds of fun games. I don't know what, again, it's up to each admin on their servers, what they're going to be hosting game-wise, but they're going to be giving out prizes and stuff like that. I think we're only officially hosting this on main 1 and 2. I've given the admins full permission. that any players from Light or Terminus that come over to Main 1 or 2 to attend this party can take their prizes back to their server with them. So feel free to come over from those servers, enjoy the party, play some games. We're going to have, all kinds of fun stuff going on and all kinds of prizes. I also gave the admins full permission. This is the last wipe of the month, so they have my blessing to kind of go silly with the prizes. So you guys probably end up with a lot of cool stuff. So, and then of course, the party's going to start. I made like a rooftop area for you guys to watch the fireworks show at the club. I'm sure some of you have probably already flown by it and see it. So it'll be a lot of fun. We put a lot of work into this. It's a 10-stage fireworks show with a huge grand finale that actually encompasses the entire map. There's going to be stuff happening across the entire map for the finale. So, sorry. Moving on to number 1. My first note is, why are some players brought into staff voice channels? You'd be shocked if you knew just how much behind-the-scenes stuff some of our players have assisted us with in the past. You should actually thank them rather than accusing them. This is actually an old note that I've been meaning to bring up for a couple months now. We've had some, every now and then you might see, first of all, I keep the staff channel visible to players so that you guys can see who's online and that we are online and stuff like that. Yes, Mikey, the fireworks show will start at 11:55 on New Year's Eve. Anyway, I keep the staff voice channel visible to players on purpose so you guys can see that we're here and that we're working and we're doing stuff for you. I don't want to hide it. It's been hidden in the past. Every now and then we do bring a player in there or a couple players in there. Hell, I did like almost half a dozen staff interviews today with players in the staff channel. My thing is, this doesn't really go to anybody in this channel that I can think of. I don't even know if the person that really caused me to write this note down in the first place even plays on our server anymore. But I still want to get it out there in the first place. There are some players that have a lot of experience in IT and a lot of experience with plugins and a lot of experience with all kinds of stuff that help us out. I'm a retired cop. Like, I'm an idiot. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. When I made this servers, I got pissed off at the server I was playing on, and I just Googled, how do I make a Rust server? Like, that's it. That's my experience. That's it. So sometimes I have to call on people to help me out with stuff like that. I'm just gonna go ahead and call one of these people out by name because this is the one that actually pissed me off. You guys remember back when something was going on with our dedicated box and it was just crapping its pants, and our host at the time, we were paying a third party to manage our dedicated machines instead of me managing them myself because I don't know shit about that kind of stuff. So thank you, Milkshake. So anyway, so we started having a problem with our dedicated box. Our host, which was the third party that we were paying to manage the dedicated box, basically just gave us the finger. It was like, oh, well, get over it. It'll be a week before I can do anything. And you guys couldn't play. Like, it was unplayable. And that night, literally that night, I stayed up till almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, you remember that. It was terrible. I stayed up till almost 2 o'clock in the morning to get us a brand new dedicated box, completely set up and ready to go in less than 24 hours. So literally, from the moment that the shit hit the fan, in less than 24 hours, you guys were on a brand new dedicated machine, which cost us a shit ton of money. But that's not my point. My point is, none of that would have been possible if it wasn't for a player named Briscoe. I'm sure half of you know who Briscoe is. Briscoe works in IT, and he volunteered his time to come sit in the staff, and Mac Lear too. Yes, I'm not going to throw Mac under the bus, but he's a lead admin. He's supposed to do shit like that. I'm trying to get at the players. Briscoe volunteered his time and sat in Discord with me all night long, setting up this server from scratch. And he had to learn stuff too. He didn't know everything. He had to figure stuff out too. We had a lot of speed bumps, and he spent the entire night of his own time doing that for us for nothing. He's not an admin. He doesn't get anything from us. He's never received anything from us. And he did all that out of the own kindness of his own heart. That and the fact that he's got great memes. So anyway, the point being is, we had a player who started talking a lot of trash because Briscoe was sitting in the staff voice channel with us. Like, get over yourselves. We used to have a lot of rules that I imposed on my staff to make sure that the integrity with our players was never compromised. After 3 years of running these servers, I've actually lifted some of those things. That would be the fact that I now let some of my admins revoke their admin status and play on Terminus as normal players. And I used to not allow them to do that because even though their admin status was revoked, I still didn't want people thinking, yeah, but they're still an admin. I bet they have some kind of trick up their sleeve. I didn't want that being out there. And after years and years of running these servers, I finally lifted that restriction and started letting my admins actually, revoke their admin status and play on Terminus. And the reason being is I feel like you guys trust us by now to know that we're not those admins. We don't cheat. We don't bullshit. Believe it or not, anybody in this channel that's ever been through our admin training can tell you one of the first things we tell people is on PvP day, you do not go around any other players unless you're in voice with us so we can hear what you're saying, because we can't have you giving tips to your friends or something like that. I mean, we're real strict about that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to lie, it really, honestly, it hurt me that people were being accusatory because we had Briscoe sitting in a voice channel with us. Like, y'all didn't even know that if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have even had that new dedicated box set up. It was all him. So to come back and then give him a hard time and make him feel like shit and accuse him and accuse us of shady business because he was in voice channels with us, that really hurt. I mean, especially on someone that put so much effort and time into helping us, and then to turn around and get backstabbed like that. And sadly, it's made it so, and I'm sorry to call you out like this in public, Briscoe, but it's even made him not come around in our voice anymore. He never come. I can't even remember the last time I heard his voice. So that really pisses me off because he's a good dude and he sacrificed his time and his effort to make sure we had a brand new dedicated box ready to go. So just please remember, if you see somebody in our staff channel, there's nothing shady going on. We're people too. And you'd be surprised how much help we get from players. Tank Buster used to help us try to fix plugins and stuff. I mean, we get help from players all the time. So please don't be accusatory towards people like that. You honestly should all be thanking him, not accusing him of stuff. So again, nobody in this channel is really who I'm talking to. I don't think that person even plays on our server anymore, but
yeah. And also just as a point with that, there's a lot of things as admins we can't test just because they don't work. It doesn't work the same way for us because of the permissions we have, things like that. So we may need players. I don't know how many times, I used to ask all the time, I need someone to jump off the high dive for me. Because if I jumped off the high dive, I had to be in God mode because the no fall flag didn't work for me, would just kill me.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that ignores us.
We can test. Testing like raid bases, making sure that my raid bases that I create aren't too difficult. Like I pull players for that all the time. Like, hey, yo, what do you think about this base? And they're like, yeah, that one's too hard, or yeah, this one's too easy.
Yeah, didn't you spend like an entire night with a couple players going through every raid base?
Yeah, I think Briscoe and I don't remember the other guy's name. I haven't seen him in forever. I forgot now. But one of Briscoe, the guys on Briscoe's,
Zetter, yeah.
Yeah, Zetter and Briscoe, like they spent hours. And like Zetter straight up was just AFK in game as I was streaming, just showing the different bases. He was like, yeah, no, so you should change that because with that there, whatever, like it makes it almost impossible and you just have to keep dying. And it's like, without him, like there are a lot of bases that everyone hated just doing and it was super painful. And now they're a lot better. And I actually see players doing them now because they sat in voice and worked with me to change it. So.
And also, so yeah, I mean, we use players all the time to test things and fix things. So, and I will say, a lot of times we reward players, and I'm gonna tell you right now, actually, I feel bad now that I'm thinking about this, and he can vouch for it. Briscoe, I did not reward you anything. I didn't even give you RP for spending all that time in there helping us with that. Meanwhile, if a player reports, a bugged zombie, we give them RP for it. Like I didn't even give him anything for that. I literally did not even give him anything for helping us. So just please keep that in mind. Like we're not up to shady business, and it's really hurtful to accuse players of stuff like that when they're just trying to help. So moving on to the next one. And this is probably the last one I'm going to cover, and I'll probably turn this over to Eliana or Drac after this because I'm losing this voice very quickly. Yeah, Judge Judy helped a lot with the quest too. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm getting lost seeing all these questions roll by. Just save them for the Q&A. So the next discussion, do we have a lot of people from Light in here right now? Zombieland Light? We got a lot of Light players in here? Yeah. Okay, so I know a lot of you light players have been seeing my little spam announcement and have been getting concerned. So let me just start it off with I am not doing anything without complete blessing from light players and discussion with light players. Running light is not costing us any more money. So get that out of your heads right now. This just popped in my head, and I thought I'd bring it up to you guys on light. It's nothing that I'm trying to do to you. Literally, the only thing light costs me is a few more clicks on wipe day. I gotta all the routines I go through on wipe day, I gotta do it on one more server. That's pretty much it. So it doesn't cost us a dime. If I got rid of light, I would probably just fire up a PvP server in its place or something because it doesn't cost us anything to run light. It's on the same box as main 2. So anyway, I just want to get the discussion out there for you guys on light. The population has been pretty low. The population in Rust itself has been real low lately. So just so you guys can rest assured, it's not just Zombieland. I've had a lot of server owners come to me and like, hey, are you guys taking major hits? And I'm like, yeah, it's been pretty low lately. Rust in general has just been really low lately, and there's nothing we can do about that. Other games come and go. Rust could pick back up again. Who knows? The point being, though, is I've seen light, dwindling into the single-digit numbers, later in the wipes. I just want to know y'all's feedback. Are you guys getting bored with how low the pop is on light? Would you like to merge into main 2? Obviously, we would never leave you hanging. We'd take all your stuff with you. Would you like to merge over to main 2? Do you want to keep staying on light with very, very small population? Give me your feedback. Maybe I'll start a thread with only light. You know what? I'm gonna make a channel in Discord. How about that? I'll make a channel in Discord that is only accessible by light players. Speaking of which, if you've never flagged yourself as what your main server is, while I got everybody's attention, if you would all go to server info channel in Discord, it's up near the top under information, server info. If you go to that channel at the very, very bottom, you click one of those reactions, main 1, main 2, light, or terminus as your main server. It helps us a lot with support tickets because we already know what server to start logging into to help you when you put a support ticket in. Those reaction roles show to us in our support tickets. So that's very helpful to us. Please click whatever your main server is. Anyway, so I'll make a channel. I'll make a channel for light players, and we can discuss that further. I just want to bring it up in the meeting just so you guys know that it's not something I'm trying to do to you. I'm trying to keep you happy. If you want a little bit more players, we'll merge you to main 2. If you don't mind, only 8 people being online type stuff, then we'll leave you on light. It doesn't really matter to me. Black Chicken, basically we have main 1, main 2. They're exactly the same. Light is capped at 50 players instead of 100 players and has a lot smaller population. Otherwise, it's all the same. Light was actually the first secondary server we created. We had just our Zombieland server, and then it was getting so overcrowded that we made light for people that wanted less players. But then main 1 still got crowded, so we had to make main 2, and we left light the way it was. So anyway, so yeah, I'll make a thread and we'll discuss light further on that. Drag, do you want to take over the next topic? You know what it is? The Water Foundation?
Yes. Okay.
You don't have to, if you don't want to.
I'm fine.
Okay.
So some folks got to play with it, some folks haven't, some folks don't even know what the hell we're talking about. For those of you that have not played with it and are looking to possibly play with the Water Foundation, my best thing I could absolutely tell you to do is please the /info section of that, and there's a chunk of it in Discord also. They will be your most helpful thing in here. But we have 2 ways to get Water Foundations. First off, one, you can go spend your RP, so those people like me who have some ridiculous amount of RP, and I know some of you are even far greater worse than I am, and want to go buy a bunch of Water Foundations and go build in water and have a base that's in water, do that. For those of you that happen to have some excessive amount of propane tanks and rope, also build Water Foundations. Basically, they work the same way normal foundation is, except you have to place them in water. The very initial one you place down in the water, you will build off of that. What I mean by that is you put the initial foundation in, have where your foundation is going to be, and then take your build plan and you swap to putting ceiling tiles down, and it will just pull the rest of the water foundations out of your inventory. And that's how you build water foundations to start with. The only thing I don't remember off the top of my head, which T, you may have a better idea, the reinforcing them so there's no soft side to the bottom.
It should all be covered in the instructions in if you go to /info in game, if you go to mods and plugins, the very last page is completely dedicated to water bases, and it has full instructions on there.
Yep.
Not to sound like a dick, but it's been very evident that some people haven't read the instructions. So just please, it's just one page. Read the instructions. There's actually a lot you can do with them. It's really cool. They can even collect loot for you. But read the instructions.
Oh, and just as a point, folks, if you do feel like that, the things are, really, too high in cost, say something. Let us know.
Yeah, we have a suggestion channel.
There's only so much that I can do with what I play with, or what other people can do that they can play with. Let us know, because at that point, if sake of argument, you guys are all like, no, that's way too much. Cool. We need a place for that to go. This happens to be a suggestion to Discord. Let us know these things so we can look back and go, yes, we need to fix this. Okay, too much, too little, but also realize we need to play with numbers. So if this does seem like it costs too much, say so. We can reduce it. Just realize that we're not going to reduce it dirt cheap, because you are building a base without having to deal with, the hour of spending underwater just to get there. But yeah, let us know.
Didn't I I swear I made a graphic with the instructions. Yeah, I did.
You did.
I will link that.
Yeah,
Beetle just did. There it is. Yeah. So I made a pretty good instructions thing there.
Just quickly on that, we had bioable brads ages ago. The problem is they only spawned in one spot. They only spawned at launch.
The what brads?
Purchasable brads.
Oh yeah. So the reason we don't, the reason we canned the personal Bradleys, same as personal attack heli, is because it interferes with the custom Bradleys. So if we install the personal Bradley plugin, then all the custom Bradleys spawn on top of each other at launch. So it's one of the other.
It's kind of funny to watch.
Yeah, it was funny to watch, but not very pleasant. So and then they're all just messed up and wrecked. So yeah, we either have custom Bradleys all over the map, which drop more crates and stuff like that, or we just have a personal Bradley that spawns at launch, and that's all you can do. Can't have both.
To avoid us getting too far off track, I can just continue on with our list, and I'll just tell you, when it comes to extra plugins, we already have more plugins than we want. We've been trying to cut it back. When we add content type plugins, we usually remove something to make space for them. And that's why I always tell people not to put plugin suggestions in our suggestion channel, because more than often than not, we're not going to be implementing that.
Yeah, keep in mind also we had
thrown out random plugins.
I had a comment made to me about, I thought there's no new plugins, and with the water bases, these water bases, we've been working on these for like 3 to 6 months, and we did get rid of a lot of plugins to make room for them. So, yeah.
We're constantly evaluating these things, and also the same side of it too. When we evaluate it, we see what people are using, what people don't use, and go from there.
Drag, please tell me you saw this from Bristol.
Yeah.
This is my new desktop. Holy crap. That's great.
All right. Let's move on then.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a quick story time of December. The last, I feel like every meeting we're always like, wow, you guys would not believe the month we've had, but next month should be better. And it has been like that since March. The good news is I talk really fast, but I really want to bring you guys in on some of the background of what's been going on, because I know this month has been really horrid, and I feel like you guys deserve to understand why. I'd be more than happy to bend your ear with the whole long story, but instead I'm just going to highlight it really quickly. So Let's see here. In October, we decided that we wanted to do a specific custom Christmas map. We wanted something that was just unique to Zombieland. We didn't want to pick it up from another supplier or whatever. We commissioned a map, and we had set up some deadlines and some expectations with the map maker. And unfortunately, during the time of Thanksgiving, he was well behind. We were supposed to have that map completely done by the 15th of November. He delivered it over Thanksgiving while T-Bird was out of town, and everyone, was kind of on break with everybody else, and it was really rough because he delivered it with 0 custom monuments at all. And we wanted to have a bunch of brand new custom monuments to make it more of a Christmassy type thing for y'all, and so it put us kind of in a really horrible situation. I had been dabbling with map work a little bit in like that. I had maybe an hour and a half of training from T-Bird, and that's it. And I was left to kind of deal with this and go through it, which is why my name is on the castle, because over Thanksgiving I worked like 48 hours straight, pretty much just working on custom monuments, trying to get things pulled off of other maps and pulled into this map and everything else. And it was just a really, really horrible time. And I mean, the whole team was also, I mean, the folks who were around on Thanksgiving were having to cover everything else that I would normally do, and it was just AIDS. It was really bad. So I know that when the Christmas map first came out, there was a lot of comments of, why aren't there more monuments? Why is it so barren? Why is it this? Why is it that? And the answer is that I don't know if you remember when we launched Purgatory, we were touting how it was the fastest we'd ever launched a map. The pre-testing and the additions of our content that we do on maps usually takes us about 2 to 3 weeks. We had about 3 days of ramp up time on this Christmas map. And that was on the back end of a massive amount of work by somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing. And that's why the Christmas map was in the state that it was. A lot of good stuff is still on it, and a lot of good stuff will come from the efforts that were put in there. And T cleaned it up, and its second go around is looking much smoother and much nicer. But that's why there's just been some issues. I mean, we were finding massive glaring problems literally 2 nights before we went live with it. It was just really, really horrible. So that was problem number 1, and that kind of put me in a pretty bad situation. And then when T came back from his trip, he like threw his back out and couldn't walk. He like literally couldn't walk. Like he'd be like, I crawled in here from my bedroom, like it was really bad. So the people who were doing some of the back end work were like really out of commission, and then a lot of the other people were on break, much needed, because we've all been going ham since March. And then on top of that, we learned that the AI was breaking. What Facepunch did was they removed an AI type called the Scarecrow, not Scarecrow, Murderer, which every single AI that we used plugin wise ran off of. And unfortunately, we were told that there would be a patch to bring things current, and instead it was basically put behind a paywall that cost as much as the game itself. We posted a lot about the frustrations of that, but just to kind of give you a high level of it, basically we were thinking things were going to be okay, and that we would just have like an update to do. Instead, we had a brand new plugin, and the thing about the brand new plugin was it wasn't just a new plugin. It changed really weird things for no reason at all. For example, we used to have our NPCs scaled to respawn in 180 seconds, or no, I'm sorry, to despawn in 180 seconds. But that seconds was changed to minutes. So if we just merged our stuff over, suddenly it would be like, okay, now they're not going to despawn for 180 minutes. And there was no explanation for that. They didn't tell us, hey, this value is now a minute instead of a second. The other thing is the damage values were completely skewed off, and there was no explanation to it. No, this is default. No, this is standard. We used to have our things set at 75% damage, and that 75 was like God tier. And I know that you guys felt it. I know that the AI was so rough while we took time to balance, and we didn't want to make any blaring balance changes, because a lot of times when you make knee-jerk reactions because of one report, it ends up really throwing other stuff off. So we were trying to take our time at it, and I know it caused a lot of drama for you guys, and I mean, it was a big point of frustration for all of us. I just want to assure you that we felt it. It was really difficult. We finally managed to find some numbers to balance on that, and that's all good and well. But in the interim, we busted out to get everything done on day 1, thinking like, oh yeah, we're gonna be one of the only servers with AI up. Unfortunately, that plugin was really beta at best, because the plugin developer really rushed it because of the fact that the murders were removed, and he gave us an unstable version, and he issued a patch for it that would have stopped a game-breaking issue. about 5 hours too late for us, which caused us to have to rewipe our force wipe, and that was not good. So there's that, and then pretty much every other plugin that runs on AI also experienced the same issue. I mean, we're still kind of dealing with some of the fallout in raid-based AI. Boss monsters, every single thing that I've read so far is that it's not stable, which is why it hasn't been implemented. Normally, we take the time to test all of this stuff out and make sure that it's good and feels balanced before we implement it, but having 0 NPCs on the map was just not an option. So I'm sorry for those of you guys who found yourself at the wrong end of that. And it spawned a lot of conversation about how we want things to look here, and how we want things to be challenging, because we don't want things to be so punishing. But I think that a lot of that dialogue was just kind of lost in the translation of the fact that you guys were seeing god tier zombies, and we were saying, hey, yeah, this is we want things to be hard. There's a medium in the middle of there, that we do want things to be hard, but not so completely punishing and unfair that you can't actually get through it. So, just to call out some of the other issues, the force wipe, we had 16 of our key plugins broken. Some of them are still broken even to this time. And it was just a really bad time, because our team is really we've been just stretched way too thin too long. And that kind of brings us to current, which we called out that we're going to have a big staff break. And I wanted to thank everybody for taking time to help each other, and to have the Christmas spirit, and to maybe sit on some minor issues rather than bringing every issue to us. We have felt it, and we are grateful for you guys taking a bit of a step back. So yeah, happy to tell anybody who wants to hear the full story another time. But the long and short of it is, those are just some of the deals that were going on in the background in December that caused some of the fun to happen that we've been going through.
And by the way, just to add one correction into that story, the plugin developer discovered that his paywall plugin was gonna accidentally wipe every server the next time they rebooted. He released a fix for that at 4 o'clock in the morning the day after, and didn't even bother to ping everybody in his Discord and let everybody know. He just quietly released an update to, oh, by the way, this might wipe your server, so here's an update. Didn't tell anybody, didn't even email his customers, nothing. He made over $60,000 with his little paywall scheme, and ended up wiping our server anyway. So needless to say, we're not very pleased with him.
Yeah, no, the update actually came at like 6 or 7 a.m. It was too late for our reset.
Yeah.
We had zero visibility that was going to even happen. And I explained it to many people. The removal of the murderer was a bit of a surprise to the modding community, as far as I'm aware. There was some visibility to it, but he was not planning on putting this stuff out until way later. So basically, we got a beta plugin, and we actually submitted a huge amount of data to help them improve it, because of how much things were missed in testing. One thing, like we run our test servers on Linux, it just hard crashes Linux anytime that you restart it. Like anytime you reload the plugin, it just hard crashes the server. So there's just glaring issues like that we really would never have put on you guys, if not for the fact that it would have mean 0 NPCs at all. That said, I know that we're going to be looking forward to the future to see about what we can maybe do. But we don't want to keep tinkering with things just nonstop. I know that it was stressful for a lot of you guys, so just to call that out. So that's that. I wanted to also cover some of the things that have happened in December for people who maybe don't keep an eye on our update log. So overall, there's been a lot going on because of all these plugin changes. Update log has been just popping off, honestly, the last month. If you go and look at it, the posts in December comparative to the months before, like maybe November we'd have like 5 posts. December we had like 30 something. It was insane. It was constant changes. So make sure that you are watching update log. But here's some things that you should know. First of all, T is doing a giveaway for some Terminus loots. I'm sorry, gift cards actually, for voting. If you go and check announcements, it's actually there. I'm going to post a link to it in the meeting channel now. Has to do with voting. Feel free to read through it if you are playing on Terminus. Terminus saw a huge amount of people playing it this wipe, and I hope you guys liked it. The loot tables were reviewed, raid-based loot was updated, a lot of balancing changes were made for Terminus because we finally got a chance to get our feet on the ground and play through it. We also did an updated FAQ. As I mentioned with the AI, a lot of conversations about what our server means to be were had, and the updated FAQ really speaks to a lot of that. If you have other things that you think should be added, feel free just to pop that in a suggestion for us. We did some quest balancing changes. I know that some of that was not terribly well received, and I just kind of want to quickly touch the ideology of that. When it comes to the quests that don't have a cooldown, those are meant to take the whole wipe, or a good portion of it. The farming quest in particular, I know some people had some issues with me taking it from 100k to 350k. I think I did it. But it shouldn't be something that you knock out on day one. The loot rewards are end game loot. So it really should take more than a day to complete it. There's other balancing changes that we had to do because of exploits. So those things were done, and as always, I welcome anyone's feedback on that. I do really want to get to a point where we're adding more quests. We had to take a bunch out because of the NPC changes, and once we can get to a better position, I'd like to add more. So if you've got thoughts about that, feel free to engage me. There's a lot of limitations with what we can do for quests, so it's probably better to reach out to me rather than putting a suggestion in. But happy to hear you guys out on that. Also in December, we had a map break on Infection, which is a map we've run 2 or 3 times before, and I don't think we know why. Just another, fun thing that came up in December that I wanted to shed a little bit of light on. That apologies for having to run a double map at one point, but it just broke and nobody knows why. I don't think.
Well, we have a general idea, but we couldn't get it fixed.
Yeah. Also, to call out a couple things for anyone who is newer to our community, we have a pretty open forum for discussing certain things, but it has to be really siloed into specific areas because of how we split our workload and because of how quickly certain chat rooms move. Like if you type in general chat, unless I scroll back, if I'm not there, I'm probably not going to see it because it's going to be gone by the time that I check. So just to call out a couple things, if you have skin suggestions, put them in the skin suggestion channel with the workshop link. Skin suggestions, I try to review about once a month if possible. They don't always get added. It's always a as I'm available type of thing. It's not something that usually ever has an immediate turnaround because normally when I do, I pull a lot out and put a lot new in. So, just pop it in there and I will try to get to it. I will reply to you if I add it in. So you'll know that it eventually gets added in, but I normally have about a month turnaround on those. We also have a raid build area where if you want to submit bases to us, it actually is something that came up in chat earlier. Someone was saying, we need to have better rotation on some of these bases. The real limitation on why we don't see more bases is because we don't have more bases. It takes time to build quality good bases, and you guys, if you like building, can help us. We have a build server. There are some guidelines for each server, or I'm sorry, for each difficulty of what you should build. And so feel free to review that. And if you've got questions, you can engage MacLear, myself, or put a ticket in and one of our admins can help you. Just make sure that you do review the guidelines. We do have some rules about how we want things to look for each difficulty. And then also suggestions. So we have a suggestions channel. The suggestion channel is kind of like a work log for us. I review it all the time. A lot of times it's not something that we can do immediately. A lot of times it's not something that we have any ability to do currently, but may want to in the future. The way that you do that is just check the pins. It tells you how to write the suggestion. You can write it in any channel. And then as it gets put in, we'll take time to review it. And the one ask that we have is just don't suggest new plugins and don't suggest magic. If you don't know the result of what you want us to do, then don't put it down. Things like, oh, I really wish that we had flying Bradleys that shot missiles all around the map. There's no way for us to do that. There's no plugin that exists to do that. Maybe something more like, hey, I don't really like the situation with the vehicle cost of this specific vehicle. Could you maybe lower it? That's something that would be helpful. And even if you don't have suggestions, it's good to go and browse those because there is a thumbs up, thumb down system, and it can help to get a little bit of popular vote on the respective suggestions that you think are good. So take time to put some of those in. It really helps us with organizing our work. Also, we updated our info. It looks really nice. If you have feedback on that or other feedback, you can always let us know via support bot. I know I'm sounding really robot-y. I'm almost done. Finally, last couple things. Overall AI balancing, I think we're at a place where we're good to kind of settle for a bit, but we do have more work that we may want to look at in the future, but nothing immediately. Raid updates, there's been a lot of those, and they've been causing a lot of little headaches. We're trying to get to a place where we're stable with those, and we'll continue using our chat to coordinate all of that with y'all. Horde balancing, I believe that they have been slowed down. I know that they were like super lightning speed for a minute. I believe that they're finally in a position that we think is good, but of course, if you feel differently, put it in a ticket, give us some feedback with proof, with evidence, with actual logs and data. Not just, oh my God, this was broken. That doesn't help us. We need to know why. We need to see it from your point of view. I do want to call out Excavator with the new changes to it. So we used to never include Excavator because the loot overall was just not great comparative to Z level gain. With the changes to it, unfortunately, with the way our server runs and with the way our certain things work on our server, there's an unavoidable exploitable loop with Excavator. That and the drama that arose that came about from people trying to just sit up on Excavator all day. We've just kind of made the decision. We really don't have it in a lot of our maps to begin with. We're probably going to make a conscientious effort just to not include it in the future.
Plus, it's a massive real estate.
Yeah, I'm sorry if for those of you guys who wanted to see that content, it's just not something that I think that we're going to be featuring due to that exploitable loop. Let's see here. We did make a change on MRS rockets. We are going to be just taking the MRS rocket machine and putting it at airfield at most maps. The desert monument is like, it's okay. It's nothing to write home about. The loot isn't great. It's just kind of takes up a lot of room for really nothing. So on maps that does not exist, check airfield. Or if we put it somewhere else, we'll make sure that we call it out in whatever wipe update we have. But we are going to start including the actual machinery for it elsewhere so that we don't always have to have the desert monument on the map. Terminus loot tables and raid loot tables were updated, and yeah. Finally, one more final thing. Well, two more final things. First of all, if you didn't catch it, the shooting range that has been featured on the current Christmas map, it damages you if you go above it. So do not try to like glitch around in it. You will die. It's not good. And then the last final thing is we put out a call, and we talk about this every single meeting. We put out a call about entity lag and big bases. I just want to remind everybody, we put a lot of time into putting a guide down for everybody to read what we consider to be a big base, and would really appreciate everyone who does like to build to make sure that they go and read through that. Entity lag is the biggest source of lag, and people who make giant bases with thousands of foundations, they're basically just making it to where our server is no longer accessible by people who don't have good computers. And a lot of people play PvE because they don't have good computers. So try to keep your builds in check as always. And hold off on the massive work until closer to PvP day when people don't really care so much anymore. Review our build guides and reach out to us if you've got questions before you go and put a bunch of work into it. Slash remove is always going to be a penalty to you. So it doesn't make sense to build everything up and just wait for us to catch it, because eventually we will. And that's it. And I know T said you had something else to cover.
Yeah, this actually got brought up in one of my interviews today, and I thought it was a good topic I need to bring up in the in the meeting. I'm very strict on my admin team about using DMs, PMs, whatever you want to call them, and voice to handle issues with players. There's a couple issues here. I want everything in support tickets, period. If you think it's too small for a support ticket, doesn't matter. Put it in a support ticket anyway. Do not PM my admins asking for this or that. Don't DM them asking for this or that. I'm not saying you can't talk to my admins. I mean, obviously, they were players just like you were, so that's fine. And then the whole voice thing, we get this at least once a week. Hey, can you come talk? Can you come deal with this in voice? Can you get in a call with me? Can you come talk to me in voice? No, we can't. There's a reason for that. It's not just T being an asshole. There's actually a really good reason for that. We have a lot of tools behind the scenes that you guys don't know about, or you may know about. I don't really care. But the point being is we have logs. We can review old ticket histories. We can pull up your profile and see all your tickets in the past. And more importantly, is all our newer admins and all our newer staff that are in training to be admins can watch and follow along with how we're handling the ticket, what's going on with the ticket, how we handled it. They can go back and review those tickets. If there's an issue that pops up, I can go pull up your logs and see, wait a minute, this is like the 5th time you've had this issue now. What's going on? So there's a lot of reasons why I want everything handled in support tickets. But even after all the things I just said, the most important issue is the integrity of everything and the accountability of everything. We have too many. Hell, we had one this week, I think, while Aliana was on vacation. Aliana said, "Well, where?" Because I don't see it in a support ticket. I don't see it here. I don't see it there. And granted, it could have just been, a quick voice thing or whatever. But the point being is, we get those kind of situations all the time. Where I think we just had one tonight, didn't we, Drac? Where it was like, so such and such said that they talked to an admin and they said it was okay, and we're like, well, where? We don't see that anywhere. We don't have any ticket history. We don't have anything that shows us. And no, that wasn't an Aliana one, but we get that all the time. It's every week we get, well, so and so said I could do this, and so said that, and we need accountability, because we all need to be on the same page, or it makes us look dumb. So if Drac tells you one thing, and then Aliana tells you another thing, and then I tell you a third thing, now we all look stupid. And that leads to arguments and players getting mad. Well, such and such said I could, and now you're saying I can't, which we've had that happen in the past too. So that's why I want everything in support tickets. I do not permit my staff to handle things in voice or in DMs. And the problem being is when you try to do that to them, you're putting them in a bad spot, because they either got to look like a jerk to you for telling you no, or they got to piss me off by going against what I asked them not to do. And that's not very fair to them. Now, there is a caveat to that. Leads can obviously handle things however they want. So me using Aliana earlier as an example was a bad one, because she's a lead. But the leads can kind of step beyond that. Drac a lot of times will get a ticket. He'll go in the game. He'll handle it in voice. And then he'll come back into the staff Discord and type the results of what happened. So that's fine. He's more of a talker than a typer, and obviously so is Aliana. But the point being is, for the general, admin team, please stop asking them to do that, because you're putting them in a really bad spot, and that's not very fair to them. I promise you, I don't make you put support tickets in just to be a jerk or just to hold my thumb on you and make you do my bidding. It's because of the accountability. We're all on the same page. The newer staff can learn from it, and we have a history now that we can go back and review if we need to figure out what's going on. It's very important to me, and I'm very strict about that with my admin team. So please do not put them in a precarious situation by trying to get them to go against my wishes on that. Please, 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 please. So hopefully me explaining it will let you guys know why I have that stance. Cool. Elion, you got any more notes? Oh,
No, I'm done.
We got one more. Explain why raids start respawning right in the exact same spot.
Oh shoot, I can handle that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So on our maps, raids require X amount of things to be able to spawn. It's like land, empty land with like no TCs, no other materials. They need to be away from other TCs, and they need to have a very flat area. Unfortunately, we found that this same qualifier is what players like to build on. They want their big flat area for their PvP bases and everything like that. So several months back, we forgot to mark off areas, and we literally had to go and chase down people and ask them to remove their TCs so that we didn't run out of raid spawns. We always try to include an allotted area for raids to spawn in, and those are unfortunately no build. They have to be, otherwise people eventually put stuff on them, and we have to go chase them down. So when that happens, there still are areas inland that things can spawn and will spawn. But as those areas get sapped up, only the allotted space remains for them. And so that means that a lot of times, once a raid despawns, the only available place for a new raid to come in is where that old raid was. You normally see this towards the end of maps, after they've been up for like a week or so. It's part of why we try to clean up the map. It's part of why sometimes admins leave a little salty note on your door and put a wall in front of your door like, hey, you made us clean up after you. People leaving random entities out in the world, people taking up all the flat areas. That's why raids spawn on top of existing raids. And I know it's inconvenient. I know that we have certain raids that you literally have to wait for the gray bags or break a high quality metal third wall, and that's an unfortunate truth of the design here. The only suggestion I have for you is if your bags are full and you're waiting for those gray bags and you're thinking that you're not going to have enough space for them, go depot, then come back and finish the raid properly so that you can pick up your gray bags immediately so that you don't get walled out of your own loot. Find another raid.
Also, I want to point out the same thing with raid bases. You have 20 minutes from the last point you damage something in that raid base to the point where that raid base unlocks from you and then becomes free game for somebody else.
Yeah, we've had an uptick in that in the last couple months.
We have a lot of that in the last 2 months.
We've probably had more
tickets.
tickets.
Changed in the last 4 months with that at all.
Nothing's changed with that timer in probably a year. But in the last 2 months, we've had more tickets for that than we've had ever in the entire history of our servers. And what he's getting at is if you die in your raid, but first of all, the timer, okay, so you have 20 minutes before your raid goes public and now you're locked out. 20 minutes. But that timer only gets reset when you actually blow something up in the base. Sorting through the loot in the boxes doesn't affect that timer. You have to destroy something. So let's say
you don't have to destroy, you have to damage.
Yeah, damage something. So let's say you're in you made it to the loot room. You're looking through loot. 5 minutes goes by. All of a sudden, an NPC respawns and it pops you and you die. You're back at your base. Your wife wants you to make a sandwich, so you make a sandwich. Your grandmother wants you to knit a cardigan for her, and then you go back to the base and like, oh, I'm locked out, admins, and I can't get my corpse. Like we literally get 100 of those tickets a month. It's insane to me. You have 20 minutes from the last time you damage a base to get back to that base before you are going to be locked out. It's going to go public. You're going to get a cooldown, and you're going to be locked out of it. That's just all there is to it. You got to stop with those tickets. We've been helping people with that, and we honestly need to stop because it's technically cheating.
We honestly shouldn't have been helping a lot of people, but because there's been a bunch of new people, things like that, we've been helping. Just and this is why I'm saying this as a blanket. You need to start paying attention to that, folks, because really, we're going to start just shrugging our shoulders and be like, you're gone for 20 minutes. And then when we tell you you've been gone for 20 minutes, trust us, we do have at least some logs. The logs will at least give us something, but there's only so much we can do. If you leave it for 20 minutes and it unlocks, you left it. You have to wait for the base to despawn or get finished.
Yeah, and every time it happens, they argue with us. We have the logs. We can see what you were doing and when you were doing it and how long it took. We can even see when you teleport. I mean, we can see all that stuff, and they always argue with us. But we can see the times. It's definitely 20 minutes. And again, I think a lot of the confusion comes where players are dilly-dallying in the base, not realizing that clock is ticking, and then they die and they think they have more time than they have. So
yeah, I've literally seen tickets of people, like I just had to go farm up for like 12C4. Farm, not go and make 12C4. They went and farmed, and did this, and then a half hour later they went back to the base, or they died, went to go make a sandwich, got ambushed by ninjas, and didn't make it back to their base in time. It happens, and this is why we're kind of like, guys, we need something.
All right, let me jump and touch this topic real quick that Mountain just said. So there are no invisible zombies. What's going on right now? Aliana was touching on, but trying not to get too detailed and drag this on. But with the whole raid bases, something's broken with the NPCs. Nivix released an update. That update ended up actually breaking things instead of fixing things, to where any NPC that had a melee weapon, a lot of our NPCs have a gun and then they have a melee weapon as a backup. If you get too close, they'll start swinging the sword at you. So any of those NPCs were basically range hitting you with the weapon, and it was making the sound of like barbed wire or spike traps hitting you. So the NPC could literally be on the other side of the base. You don't even see him. And all of a sudden you just, you're taking damage and you die. That's what was going on. He released 5 patches trying to fix it yesterday. Let me tell you how fun it is. when we patch raid bases, I have to toggle off the respawns on all the servers. Then I have to wait for them all to despawn and blah blah blah. Let me tell you how fun it was doing that 5 times yesterday with 101 degree fever. Still didn't fix it. So as of today, just to get that issue to stop happening, where you guys call them invisible zombies, but that's not what is really going on. But to get that to stop happening, I just deleted all NPC kits until in raid bases until he could get this fixed. So right now you're going to see all the NPCs at raid bases are just going to look like heavies. They're not using 249s. Don't worry, they're not going to mow you down with 249s. They're just all gonna look like heavies right now until he can get that fixed. I figured that's a better solution than to let you guys keep getting melee killed from 151 meters away. So, just to be transparent on what was going on with that. All right, so we're gonna. I keep seeing a lot of questions. I keep stopping to read them, but that's the Q&A. So if you have questions, just save them for the Q&A. Let's get on with this because we're actually pretty much done here. We'll do the Q&A and we can get on with our night. Any other leads have anything?
Yeah. So I'd put a poll out asking to see like who would be interested in sitting down and doing a like how to raid 101, right? Because I created a lot of the raid bases. I know how to do a lot of them. I know tricks and tips that a lot might not know on how to like get certain angles and stuff. So it seemed like there was a decent amount of interest. I'll probably put something up for a time frame soon. So I might even create a channel for it or whatever, so that people can get in there, whatever, and be like, oh hey, yeah, what time, and I can keep it updated and maybe even post a video there.
And let's be honest, who doesn't want to see Mac die to his own drop downs? You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, it's so fun. I actually enjoy raiding my own bases. I enjoy it, but at the same time, I hate it because it's not that they're hard. It's that a lot of times I'm like, I know I have to die to this. Like, it's just this is a death trap. You're supposed to drop, throw a bomb, and then okay, oops, I died. But yeah, I plan on trying to host and getting as many people as possible that are interested. Because I mean, the reason this came up is like I've seen players die over and over and over, and like when I see somebody die like 4 or 5 times to roughly the same thing, I'll pop over and just take a look at what you're doing. And half the time you're throwing grenades at weird angles that aren't doing anything, or you're just jumping up and standing up and get blasted in the face, or like I saw one guy throw a C4 on a door, and then like as soon as it blew up, he just went charging through it and died to like 4 shotgun traps that could have easily been peeked. And it's like, why are you just running through like no care and then complaining about it?
I like how many players are saying that you must have been watching them.
It's very like there's so many people.
Yeah,
One of the few things I do.
You guys should take Mac up on that though. He definitely knows this shit with raiding. He's the one that made all these bases that are killing you guys. So
yeah, there are some like I said, there's some bases that it's just going to kill you. Like you're going to die, it's guaranteed. But those tend to be in like the expert nightmares. Like I think there's 2 experts where I have a certain drop that like the only real way to do it is either to core it out or you're going to drop and die at least once. So
any of the leads got anything?
Yeah, T, I'd just like to thank all of the players who are here tonight. You guys are what keep us going. You know, this engagement, this support, we really appreciate it. We love having all of the answers that you guys give to our new players and all the assistance. I mean, I've seen people giving away loot to new players or rescuing them from zombies or, you know, just banding together and really being a part of a great community. And that helps us out so much. I mean, it helps us with the little things, and it also just kind of helps keep our spirits up because adminning can be difficult. You know, it's a big demand, and we all like to play, and you know, adminning comes first sometimes. So thank everyone who's in here, and you know, keep being supportive of our new players and each other, and you know, just look forward to the new year. Thank you all.
And just know that we notice that kind of stuff. like you guys helping players and answering questions for players. We actually have an internal note system that we use on everybody. I'm sure you guys have seen me talk about it at sometimes before. But we keep positive and not just negative notes. We keep positive ones too on you people. When you're helping out people and answering questions and assisting new players. I think actually I put a note on Noop. I don't know, Noop, if you're in here today. I put a positive note on Noop today. I saw him answering a lot of questions in chat and helping some players. So, you know, we watch all that stuff and we definitely appreciate it a lot. So, and those notes, it may sound trivial, but they actually go a long way because, you know, if Noop has, you know, 7 good notes on his account and then some other players got 2 bad ones on his account and then they get in a dispute and we can't really figure out who did what, well, guess who we're probably going to side with? So we definitely keep detailed notes on all of you. So,
And just to bounce off what they've been saying, you know, we all asked for, you know, the month of December to be a little less on the, you know, admin-y side because, you know, we all need breaks too, guys. And you guys have been rock stars. For the most part, tickets have been pretty good. They haven't been over trivial things. They've been, you know, solid things. And for all the people that have been helping players, thank you.
all right, any more leads? Got anything?
I got one more thing that.
Oh, Lord. Max talkative tonight.
I know, it just came up. Well, it's in relation to raid bases again. If you're ever interested in like learning how to make a raid base, because like we do take player submitted raid bases. We have a build server you can build on or whatever and test out builds. But if you're interested, you're like, I can't really figure out how to make this difficult. I want to build a nightmare and get it into rotation. Just hit me up and I can schedule a time and sit down with you and show you some tips and tricks, whatever. A lot of times, like the harder raid bases, you have to figure out some unique qualities to them. Like some of mine have the electrical traps, and it's like you gotta figure out how to get those right and all that. So it's a process, but if anyone's
By
interested,
quality.
just hit me up and I can help you out.
By quality, he means symmetry.
Oh, before we move on to the rest of the team here, Aliana, I think we forgot to touch on, and I'll touch on it real quick right now. If you already did, then just shut me up. Everybody, if you can, go and right click your name in Discord and change nickname to whatever your in-game name is.
You covered it, T.
Okay, I thought I did just the server part.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so yeah, change your name. Basically, when a support ticket pops up, it shows us if you have a nickname set in Discord. And remember, this doesn't change it in other people's Discord. It just changes it your nickname here. Our support ticket system will tell us if you've selected a server as your main server, and it'll tell us your nickname. So we can skip the whole back and forth part of who are you and what server are you on, so we can come help you. If you go ahead and do that right now, it'll help us a ton. So again, go to server info channel and select your server at the very bottom there with the reactions, and right click your name in Discord and hit change nickname to whatever your in-game name is. It will not affect you in any other Discords, and it helps us tremendously. Because I'll tell you, the first 3 minutes of every support ticket is us trying to figure out who the hell the person is.
Who the person is, and also what's wrong.
Yep, that's who. Yeah, speaking of which, if you ever start a support ticket, it will be, think of it as a 911 call. I'm going to tell you as a retired police officer, the best 911 call is the one where they say, hi, T-Bird, main one, I fell into the map. Boom. If you just say those 3 things right at the start of your support ticket, officer is already on the way. You know, like it helps us so much. We get people all the time put in tickets like, hey, how you doing? Good. I need help. Okay. Can you rescue me? Well, who are you? What server are you? Like, you know, it doesn't help. So anyway, all right. Any admins have anything you want to throw in before we move on?
I do. Main 2. I know I talked about doing a build competition. I kind of shot that bullet a little too early, and we really want to do that ZL club for this coming wipe. But keep an eye out on Discord. Usually save those for the end of like a full wipe cycle, just so that way everybody's Z levels are high and it's not a struggle on anybody to get the mats together and whatnot. Definitely do what we did before, give away some prizes, whether they're vet golds and stuff like that. We'll have a theme. But yeah, just keep an eye out for it on Discord.
Yeah, we kind of moved that just because of the whole Club Z thing this wipe. So
yeah, there's a lot of work put into that. We want to make sure that shines.
yeah, we didn't mean to throw you guys under the bus with that, but okay. Any other admins got anything? Going once, going twice. All right, so now we're going to move to the Q&A. We'll do this nice and quick, and then we'll get you guys your prizes. For those that don't know how the Q&A works, if you click on the server meeting channel that you're in right now, the voice stage, I forget every single meeting if it's at the top or the bottom, but there should be.
It'll be at the top. Well, at the
there
bottom
should-
or whatever, there's a like raise hand to speak, whatever, and then
Yeah.
when I accept you and I let you speak, whatever, it should show up at the top to accept and become a speaker.
Yep. So if you have a question, just click the little raise your hand button, and Mac will call on you to ask your questions. And then once we're done with that, we'll get some prizes going. Admin team, if you want to go ahead and start spreading out to your servers for the prizes.
Yep. All right. To start off with, we have Elysium. Should have an option at the top. There you go.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hi, welcome.
Hi. So my question is about builds, but specifically like RP style builds. I know in the server information it doesn't say that this is an RP server, but because it's a PvE server, it really lends itself to really fun, creative ideas. And I was wondering, within the build restrictions, is it possible to do something like a demolition derby or like a car launching thing? I actually know some people I used to play with on another server that is shut down now that were looking to do something fun again, and I thought I'd ask in advance before I said, yeah, sure, go on over to the server I'm on and build a giant launch ramp and a demolition derby or something.
Honestly, if you get with the admin team ahead of time and discuss it, it depending upon what it is, I'd have to see, but we can help you find a good location for it and help you get set up and stuff and approve it or disapprove it and things like that. Hell, I mean, if it's cool enough and not too overblown, laggy, huge, we could even assist with it. Even so, I'm all about anything that gives the player something fun to do. But at the same time, we got to keep performance in mind for everybody else that wants to play. So it's really just one of those. It kind of goes back on what I said earlier about even if you think it's trivial, just put a support ticket in. I promise you, we don't get annoyed by that. We've had players that literally, open up Fortify. I don't know if you know what Fortify is. And design builds in Fortify and then show us the screenshots of it, or they go on our build server and build what they're thinking about building and show us screenshots of it and then get it approved ahead of time. We've had players lay out their foundations and say, hey, admins, can you come check this before I continue and let me know if this is okay? So honestly, just talk to us. Again, we are all for the players having a good time, and honestly, that sounds fun. I'd like to do it too, but at the same time, we gotta at least check it to make sure it's not going to affect people's performance.
If I could add one more thing on that, there have been times where we have allowed people to put up things we wouldn't normally allow to stay up temporarily. So like I've seen a lot of people put up giant ramps with the anticipation and expectation that they take it down before like a full day passes. So they can have their fun and then tear it down after they're over with it. So if if they're willing to do that kind of stuff, still clear it with us, but we are flexible.
And a lot of it depends upon where and what. If someone's going to build like a 200 foundation giant coliseum with a ramp in the middle of the map, there's no way we're going to say yes to that. But if they want to build like a 20 foundation, a 1x20, a nice little single file foundation, huge ramp at the very edge of the map, jumping off into the ocean or on some little island somewhere, then there's a much higher chance of us saying yes to that kind of thing. Because again, all we really care about is just that all the players can play and not have to lag out, because their PCs can't render anything in because graphics card costs as much as a car now. So.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for answering my question.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
All right. Next we have Beetle.
I think he's typing it.
If you're gonna type, just type. Don't request to speak. If y'all could, just makes it easier on me because I'm trying to go with whoever sends a request to speak. Actually, let me set the meeting channel. Oh,
hello.
We did already.
There he is.
Hey, there we go. Cool.
This thing on?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh shit. Love the team. Was curious to know how long the despawn is on the zombie horde. That one was kind of a bummer to me. Because it sucks if you wipe them solo, and it's like your most defining moment in Rust because you actually overcame something.
What do you mean? There's not a. I don't think there's a despawn.
I had a pile of like 20 bodies, and the only way I could figure out getting rid of it all most efficiently was just to invite all the players on the server because the reset was imminent. And I felt like it was like I was like FOMO, I guess was the best way to put it, because I couldn't get through all the bags because they're stacked on top of each other with the way that I had to actually take them out. I felt like it seems like it's at like 5 minutes. I
Okay.
feel like I need a little bit more time.
Are you talking about
So
the despawn of
you-
the loot?
Yeah.
I think
So
that's just
all of
Rust
that,
default, isn't it?
yeah, that's all Rust default. It's all based on
Okay.
what's in their bags and stuff like that. So if it's, I want to say if like whatever tier 1 loot is only lasts a couple of minutes, and then so on and so forth, depending on what tier loot they have.
Yeah, just to confirm, I pulled up the config while you were while Drake was talking just now, just to double check, because some plugins override the default times, like and let me determine how long the loot stays. This plugin does not, so it is definitely vanilla. I'm looking at the config right now as I'm talking to you.
Yeah, it's hard to turn off admin mode sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't have the option to change that.
Also, it's just more of a silly thing. I feel like the Bye Bye Darkness should give miners caps because of its cost and snarkiness.
Yeah, the Bye Bye Darkness was meant to be more of a joke.
I know. I hate how hard it is to find the miners caps on some of these maps.
Yep, got to farm.
I know. I hate leaving base. I've become a homebody in game. So, all right, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no
it.
worries.
All right. Don't have anybody else. Is there anybody else wishing to speak? If so, request.
And all them questions going by during the chat, and nobody's got a question.
I know, right?
We knocked a lot of it out while we were talking.
Okay.
That
we
Bristol
can't-
guy doesn't even want to speak to us. He's so rude, man.
All right, so I guess that's it. To people DMing me, I can't really check all that, right now because I'm streaming. So
Suggestion channel is down toward the bottom of Discord, and the other thing is Morph. The problem is it worked, but it didn't work. Nobody really used it in the end. When we did have it going, we had to goad people into go into the gun games arena and all that. So it's one of those things that we just kind of looked at going, well, nobody really uses it.
yeah,
No one really uses it. Plus, it's a fuckload of entities.
yeah. Well, not only that, but it's a ton of work. We have to the racetracks and the arena games. We have to completely configure for every single map from scratch. It's a pain in the ass, and it's a huge tax on the server for something that people weren't using that often anyway. So that's why we got rid of those. And Vanesti, it was an admin DMing me, so it's okay. All right, so I guess that's it. No more Q&A. That's it. We good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's move on to prizes. We got admin stationed on each server.
Yes.
Me and Bad are already. We're
All
done
right.
on one.
You guys at town, where are you doing this at? So I can tell
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah, town. Just come over the bridge and then walk
Campus.
in. You see us right here.
All right, so on each server, go line up at town, single file. You get to choose between either 50 rockets or, wait, is it 50 rockets and 50 paper?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's 50-50.
Yep.